Problem.
Okay, so I guess all I want to do today is just talk about what you are going to be doing on your seminars, but also get to know, because I think I don't know either of you. I've come across you through the bigger thing, so I guess maybe just to get a little bit of a brief overview of yourselves and stuff, and how you're in the grooming industry, I guess.
Come on, Vicky, you go first.
All right, no worries. Yeah, no, it was nice to meet you. So I've been in accountancy for a while, and originally started with my uncle and joined his firm about 6 years ago. And luckily he's retiring now, so it's given me full reins. So during that 6-year period, I wasn't really allowed to do what I wanted to do. So I built up my own client base as well as obviously helping him. And I found that a lot of them were like groomers to start with, not on purpose, it just sort of happened. And then it was sort of late last year that one of my grooming clients said to me, you know, this is an industry where I think we need help with finances, because no one really knows what they're doing. So I thought, okay, I'll take a look into it. And then January time, I sort of started joining some of the Facebook groups and having a look and putting some things out there on the groups to see what the response would be. And to be honest, you know, what are we now, July? 7 months later, it's gone absolutely mad. And to be honest, my client was right. The grooming industry does need help with its finances. I would say I've probably spoken to near on 200 groomers, and I would say about 75% of them have probably done something wrong, or you know, are doing it wrong with their accounts. So I then found Bill, or I think it was on his group, I can't remember now. And we started chatting, and we sort of had the same mindset in that it's an industry that does need help with the business side and the finance side. And that's why we combined forces and did the business startup course. But now from my perspective, oh, sorry, someone's calling me.
Don't worry about it.
From my perspective, I sort of went away from being sort of a generic accountant and started the pet accountant. So I only deal with pet professionals, whether that be groomers, trainers, daycare, people who sell food, all sorts, all across the spectrum. But I only deal with pet businesses now.
I guess it's quite a niche. I guess the pet industry is quite a niche thing, and knowing what you can and can't claim on expenses and all that type of thing, it's sort of a specialist thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's
it's one of those things where you know, you can go to a generic accountant, but they're not necessarily going to know the ins and outs of a pet business. So, you know, for example, if they said, oh, can I claim for Savvy Software, or can I claim for a Wet Pet Pod, or whatever, they're going to be like, what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
Whereas because I deal with them, they can talk to me. Oh God, sorry, I've got someone else ringing me now. Because I can talk to them, you know, at their level, and they know that I know what they're talking about, then I think it's helped massively.
Yeah, I think also you value your customers, because you could go to your high street accountant, and being in the pet industry, I think you kind of get written off by these other professionals. I've certainly had it at a network meeting. They're like, oh, you've got a pet groomer, this is probably not for you. And then you sort of say, you tell them that your turnover, and they're like, oh, actually, you know, membership is like, you know, oh, now you're interested. Now you think that groomers and the pet industry have got some value to give you. So I think a lot of the big accountancy firms kind of look at you just as a tin pot little business, where actually there's so much potential there. So you need that sort of like relationship, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's great that guys like you have entered our industry. Do you know what I mean? Because you are out there giving us this professional advice. So we're all the people on the Facebook groups giving their I don't know the term for it, but what their advice they've already been given. But your guys, it's more specialized, because Bill, you know grooming anyway, because that's what your wife does, isn't it? So, and obviously you've understood that and got to understand that, and can give us that from a professional point of view, rather than a lot of advice that's given is on business specifically. It's sort of layman's terms by other groomers in groups rather than professionals.
Yeah, I found that as well, that a lot of these groups, people are sort of giving each other advice, but it's not necessarily the correct advice, especially when it comes to finances and taxes and stuff. There's so much information that people are putting on these groups that is incorrect. And I keep going on there to try and spam them with the correct information to make sure that people set out right. But it's unbelievable. And again, it's probably one of those things where they're getting advice from their accountant that maybe doesn't know the industry, who's then giving them good advice, that's then that person's passing it on.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a snowball effect. But hopefully, with everything that I'm doing, that Bill's doing, and that we're doing together, that hopefully it'll help, is the main aim.
So how did you get in? Did you just follow into this sort of line because your wife was a groomer, Bill?
Yeah, so Emma started grooming in 2005. It was something that I'd never actually heard of or understood. We had a little dog, and it's like, we're never taking our dog to the groomer. So what are you doing? She was a veterinary nurse, but was completely disheartened with the industry, and wanted a bit more value for herself, and wanted to work for herself, because she wanted to make those decisions and help the animals herself. So she went away and did a little course. There was no Facebook, there was no Google. You had Yellow Pages. So our business is called A to Z Animal Care. So it could be like the front of the Yellow Pages for pets. And then later on in the grooming business, we got given an ultimatum by her dad to buy him out, because he helped her with the business sort of side. And my interest was starting to pick up. We got into Facebook and stuff like that. So we took the brave decision to buy him out and go it alone. And all of a sudden, I've got a full-time job that I'm doing, and now Emma's full-time in her business, and I'm trying to do all the admin tasks. So we've got staff, so I'm trying to write the handbooks, I'm trying to write contracts. We might have an issue where someone's using their mobile phone or they're smoking. It's like, what do we do? Where do we go? We were getting busier and busier and busier, and we're watching our sort of profits go down. And we'd always known that we could, the business could do better. And I always say, like, the business is like a beast, and the business will really sort of throw you around and control you and take you one direction to another, whereas you need to sort of grab hold of it and take control of that business. So we came across a mentorship company that, it wasn't just one mentor, it wasn't just one business mentor, it was 5 business mentors, and it took us on a journey. So although we had an established business already, we went on a journey from sort of refreshing our business from the beginning and looking at how we can make more money, how we can make more profit, how we could put more systems into our business and get extra support. So with that mentorship program, it really sparked something in me, and I really enjoyed the positivity around it, like having people to bounce ideas off, people being your biggest fan, and the mentors going, yes, you can do this. And really sort of like our mentor that we have, Robin, for pricing and products, he scares living daylights out of us, because he's like, you can charge more, and you sit there in bed going, oh my God, we're going to like put 19% on our...
It's scary.
Yeah.
You know that you can, but it for some people it's scary. And I think what happens when guys like you come on board and start advising people get that courage to make them extra steps. Do you know what I mean? So
that's it. You lay in bed and you were like, we carried a 19% price increase coming out of lockdown. That time where everyone's like, oh, am I going to have any clients left or anything like that? We carried a 19% increase in our prices, and everyone was like, yeah, okay. And we're like, the fear is so much worse than actually doing it. So, so I was sitting there in December. I thought, right, I want to do my own business. I started to look at coaching and helping people in business. We've made a lot of mistakes, and I wanted to try and make sure that people had that knowledge to deal with their business with confidence. So I was sitting there in December. I knew it was Christmas time, and I knew everyone was going to be on social media. They're going to be bored. They don't want to talk to other halves and their families, so they'll be looking around Facebook. I thought, right, I'm going to set my business up. So I put together the Instagram, the Facebook page, and the Facebook group on the 28th of December, I think it was, and put a message into my mentorship group and said, right, I've done it. We're doing it. We're going for it. Because initially I wanted to offer business support to people that we were training to become pet groomers within our own business.
Yeah.
But we had a lady, one of our groomers has now gone on to maternity leave, so we had to change our plan. So I just thought, well, if I can do it for our own trainees, why can't I do it for the wider
wider
world?
audience? Yeah.
Yeah. So I started that group, and then it's just gone exploded,
So
And
I think your group. One of our committee members, Lorraine, invited me to join the group. Just tell everybody what your group is called.
So it's dog grooming business help and support. Almost got it wrong then.
Cool.
Dog grooming business help and support.
And I guess if anybody wants to, if anybody's not in it, I've got to say it's a really good group. What there's no what you expect from Facebook. There's no it's really convenient. Is that the right word? It's really nice. It's a really nice group to be part of and things like that. There's no sort of snipey comments, and it's really is a good group. So if anybody wants to join it, I'm sure that if they put the name in the comments because I'll put this on Facebook, somebody will add you. If I don't, Bill, you will, or Vicky, you will, won't you? I guess. So
when I started that group, I turned around to my wife and said, everyone's really quiet. No one is talking to me. No one is like putting their challenges. And Emma's like, you know why? Because they've been under the cosh for like all this time. Whenever you put your name up there in a group and you sort of say something, you get beaten down. It's like, well, I'm not having that. And I'm also not going to have people come along and say, well, my mate down the pub says you can't do this, X, Y, and Z. And this is where I turn to like Vicky and say, right, I don't know the ins and outs of accounts, and I don't want you to talk to your mate down a pub who says you can't be VAT registered or don't do this. Let's go and seek a professional who does this for a living, and let's have an interview about it, and let's learn as a group as well. So that's
one thing that came out of me during the whole lockdown thing, and one of the reasons we wanted to do this event is to try and bring the community back together, because, at some point, and I think I was guilty of it as well, there was some real animosity going around about what we can do and what we can't do at the beginning of lockdown. And I'm glad that's all sort of dissipated, but do you know what I mean? The grooming community is a really good community, and, I'm just pleased that we can put this event on, and fingers crossed there's no more changes to the law and that type of thing
fingers crossed.
So tell me, what have you, right, you've got a 90-minute slot for the seminar. What you gonna drill everybody on?
I think Bill's gonna have at least 70 minutes of those.
I think me and Vicky need to get our heads together and look at what the main issues are within the industry from both perspectives, and do a bit of a talk around that. I might look at the 5 ways to grow your business and do a little talk around the 5 ways to grow your business, because there are different ways to do it, and there's some surprising parts of that which people might not realize. And then Vicky can talk about the main issues that she comes across. And I think probably just a question and answer sort of session as well. I think it's
going to be a great. Hopefully I'll get time to just drop in and have a look. I hope I will find time. I think I've got you on in the morning. I can't remember right now.
I think accounts is best. I think accounts is best done in the morning, so people don't fall asleep in the afternoon. To be honest, it's not the most exciting topic in the world, but I'll try my best to liven it up a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll dance around the stage and do stuff like that.
Me and Bill do some ballroom dancing or something halfway through.
But it's not that. Just let people know, it's not all spreadsheets and PowerPoints, is it? It's going to be a bit more fun than that. Yeah,
we're going to make it as interactive as we can, because like we say, we don't want to just talk at people for 90 minutes and death by PowerPoint slide. So we will make it as fun and interactive as we can.
But that's a two-way street. People, this goes back to the beginning of the group, people need to be open, and they need to start asking those questions and interacting, because this is their opportunity to get as much value as they actually want out of this. And it's the same within the Facebook groups and anything that we do.
Yeah.
If you don't, we're there to answer those questions, and we both of us really want to help people within their businesses. So you get out of it what you put in as well. It's not just us talking at you. We want some interaction with people.
Real.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to wind that up now then, guys. Just let me switch the record off, if I can find record.